Good afternoon, dear students. Today we shall start up with the module 3, which consists of two different major components. One is memory management and another one is a deadlock. So we start up with the very first part called as a deadlock. What is a deadlock? What are its characterization? What are the concepts involved in the deadlock? Then followed by the memory management as a second part in the module 3. So the first part of our new module 3 is a deadlock. So what is a deadlock? Deadlock is a process which requests for a resource, and if that resources are not available, it waits. The process waits. However, if the waiting process never changes its state, as those required resources are held by some other process which are again waiting itself. So this situation is called as a deadlock. So the meaning is very simple. There are n number of processes are there in the system. As you are already aware, we are very much familiar with the concept of multi-programming, wherein more than one process are certainly they are in the system. So when more than one processes are in the system, so certainly they are, in order to execute their task, they require certain resources. Some are shareable and some are non-shareable. That we shall see, which are in that context. Now coming to that particular aspect, resources are required for the each process. Now when it comes with respect to the resources, some are immediately available, some are not immediately available for certain reasons. We shall see in what way they are not available. Here, at the initial level, the point is very simple. If a process requires a resource, and if that resource is not immediately available to that particular process, it will wait. And some other process also requires certain resources. That resource is also not available with that particular process, so it will also wait. So such processes which are waiting for the resources that are not available with them, and they are available with someone else. Now each of these processes who are waiting for the resource, someone else to release those resources indefinitely. Their waiting is indefinite because for some reason some processes are not releasing the resources. And if other processes, waiting processes, which are waiting for the resource release event by some other process which never occurs, which never happens, then that situation is called as a deadlock. Deadlock is a blockaged state. So usually the process utilization of the resources should be in the some following manner, as you can see on the screen. Request, use and release. Request is in the sense whenever you require any particular resource, you should first request, and then after requesting, because you request only when you are very immediately required, you request it. If they are made available to you as a process, if the processes are allocated, use it, the second part, and after usage you should release it immediately. Then only the system will go in a more smooth manner. But however, things won't happen in the same way as we are expecting. Now coming to the point, we already defined the term deadlock. Now we shall talk about the occurrence of the deadlock. We can say deadlock has occurred only when four necessary conditions certainly, if and only if they occur. All four should occur. What is the first one? First one is mutual exclusion. Second is hold and wait. Third one is no preemption. Fourth one is circular wait. Mutual exclusion in the sense, what is a mutual exclusion? At least one of the resource must be held in a non-shareable mode. That is, only one process at a time should use that particular resource. And if another process requests for that particular resource, and that requesting resources is usually delayed until it is being released. Mutual exclusion in the sense, a non-shareable resource makes more valuable contribution to this particular scenario. Mutual exclusion is, if one resource is held by some other process, you should wait until that particular resource is released by the process that has already hold it. Then second is hold and wait. Hold and wait is another condition. It talks about process is holding at least one resource and waiting to acquire additional resource that are currently held by some other process. Hold and wait. So hold and wait in the sense, a process P1, consider, it is holding certain resources, and the same P1, after holding some resources, it is waiting for some other resources for its execution which are already held by some other process. So that should also occur, is called as an hold and wait. Third one is no preemption. No preemption in the sense resources cannot be preempted. That is, a process can be released only voluntarily by the process which is holding it, and after it has completed its task. Preemption in the sense releasing earlier. We already talked about the term preemption, preemptive, non-preemptive algorithm, if you could remember in the CPU scheduling program. Preemptive in the sense we will preempt before process is completely executed. It's completed its burst time. Prior that only we will remove it from the execution purpose. That is preemption. So we say no preemption. No preemption in the sense resources are released only when it is voluntarily willing to release it and it has completed its task. So that will be the characteristic of what we call it as a no preemption. And fourth one is circular wait. Circular wait in the sense, consider there are a set of processes, say P1, P2, P3 up to Pn, and waiting for the P1 is holding certain resource, waiting for some resources that are held by P2. Similarly, P2 is also holding certain resources, requesting some resources held by P3. And similarly, P3 is holding certain resources, requesting some resources held by P4, and so on up to Pn. So Pn minus 1 is a process which is holding certain resources and requesting and is expecting Pn to release the resources. Similarly, Pn holding certain resources and it is expecting P1. Now after Pn it is P1. So circle, we form a one cycle. This is called as a circular wait should also occur. So that is how, if all the four conditions occur certainly, then only we call it as an necessary and sufficient condition for the occurrence of the deadlock. That is the first thing. So in order to handle this deadlock situation, what is being considered is there are two different ways, usually what we call them as an deadlock handling methodologies. When we talk about the deadlock handling methodologies, there are basically two, usually three, preferably some books refer for three. The first one is we allow the system to enter into the deadlock, then detect it, then recover it. The first thing. In order to occur a deadlock, remember all four conditions should satisfy: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. Remember that. Then only we can say deadlock is occurred. If one of the conditions does not occur among these four, what are available on the screen, you cannot say that deadlock has occurred. Now the first way of handling the deadlock here is allow the system to enter into deadlock state, detect it, recover it. That's the one thing. Second thing here is prevent or avoid the deadlock occurrence, ensuring that system will never enter into the deadlock state. That's another thing. And then third situation is ignore the occurrence of the deadlock at all. There is some problem of deadlock has occurred. You don't presume that. You don't think that nothing has happened. All is well. You think all is well, no deadlock occurred, nothing is going to occur, there is nothing concept called as deadlock, and leave it to the system to handle it on its own. Somewhere at some point in time it gets stuck. So that will be resolved later on. Fine. So with that particular context, we do take up the handle the situation. First, now we shall take up the first method called as an deadlock prevention. First we shall go for the deadlock prevention methodology. What is a deadlock prevention? Deadlock prevention is considered to be a successful if at least one of the four conditions does not hold. Keep it in mind. As I mentioned, if these four conditions which are available on your screen, that is mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and then circular wait. If one of the condition, if you successfully ensure that one of the four conditions does not occur, then it is ensured that deadlock is prevented from the occurring. Now coming to the first part, mutual exclusion. How you can stop or prevent occurring the mutual exclusion? To stop occurrence of the mutual exclusion, system or a process should request for only shareable resources, and because non-shareable resources need mutual exclusion, but mostly non-shareable resources are like a printer, usually they are, and a writing file will require mutual exclusion for the execution purpose. So meaning here is very clear. Mutual exclusion is possible only when there are certain shareable resources like printer and writing onto the file, and there are certain non-shareable, that is read-only file is a non-shareable, and then you just ensure that minimum or there are no usage of the non-shareable resources. In the sense, avoid usage of the printer or writing of the file, then you can stop occurring the first one, mutual exclusion. But however, it does not occur normally because printer is essentially required. Writing information onto the file is also necessary many times. You cannot ask just to read the files only because you can prevent the mutual exclusion. No, it is not possible because you have to write the information. While writing again, certainly there is a problem. So stopping from mutual exclusion is slightly difficult, as there are certainly shareable resources are there in the system, like a printer and writing onto the file. So thus this scenario which helps in preventing the mutual exclusion is slightly difficult. I cannot say impossible, but it is slightly difficult because system is there. If there is a system, so certainly there are shareable and non-shareable resources are there. So hence it will not be so much effectively possible to ensure through this means. Second one is hold and wait. To ensure hold and wait does not occur now, check whether we can do something here so that we can prevent the occurrence of the deadlock. Hold and wait. What the hold and wait says here is, any particular process which is holding certain resources and asking some other resources which are held by some other process. So meaning is very clear. Certain process, a particular process, say P1 is holding certain resource, even though it has already completed its job, and it is waiting for certain resources for its remaining part of execution, which is held by some other process like P1 and P2, that is P2 and P3. Hence, you can ensure this by saying that you don't hold the resources. That is, if you are requesting certain resources, make sure that you release the resource which is already held by you. So hence, by this scenario, what we call it as an hold and wait, you can stop the hold and wait by saying that, ensuring that whenever any process makes a request for any particular resource, it should not hold any resource which it has already used it. And then if it has released, similarly some other process will also release it. As a result, you can immediately ensure. So hence hold and wait can be effectively stopped by occurring in the deadlock situation. Then third one is no preemption. No preemption in the sense, process holding certain resource and requesting for other resources that are that cannot be granted immediately, and then all resources that are held should be preempted. No preemption in the sense, it is holding certain resource and it will not release even though its job is over. Say a printer it has already occupied for a particular process P1. Now P1, even after printing is over, it is not releasing the printer, and now it is asking certain file to for its accessing to write it. For example, it is non-shareable. You want to write it. Now, even though printer job is over, still it is not releasing, and now it is asking for additional file to write it. So no preemption in the sense, it will not release the printer and it will ask for something else. So you should say that no to no preemption. No to no preemption in the sense, if printer job is over, it should immediately release it before it is asking for the next resource called as a file. Fine. So hence, say no to no preemption, then it will certainly break the deadlock. Now finally, we will come to the another part called as an circular wait. Circular wait, as I mentioned already, circular wait in the sense, it will ensure that order of the resources that are P1 is a process which has held certain resources, and it is asking for P2 to release, which has already held by P2, and P2 further holding certain resource, expecting P3 to release certain resource, and this will continue. Pn is holding certain resources and is expecting P1 back to release the resource, which should not occur. You break somewhere the cycle, and then it will be effective way of what I call it as an preventing the occurrence of the deadlock. So to conclude this part, deadlock prevention, the theme here is we have 4 different necessary and sufficient conditions for the occurrence of the deadlock: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. At least one of the 4 conditions, if you successfully stop from occurring, it does mean that you have successfully prevented the occurrence of the deadlock. Thank you.